All right, so pretty exciting day today. We're here with Zach Waltz, who's a winemaker in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and his family's been growing grapes and making wine for what, last 20 years?
25, yeah.
They planted in 1990s?
97, yep.
And what do you guys specialize in?
So pretty much Bordeaux, Burgundy varietals that you'd be familiar with. So like main staple reds, we Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, and Merlot. And then we have some Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Semillon, and Muscat.
And, I know you might be thinking what kind of wine is being made in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but Zach and his family have been at the forefront of producing really high-quality wine, sort of changing the perception of what the East Coast can do in general. And a few months ago, they got second place at an international tasting that was sort of reimagining the tasting of Paris, which was a blind tasting that occurred 50 years ago. Was it 50 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was a blind tasting comparing the U.S. wineries to some of the most famous producers in Europe and in France and Burgundy specifically. And Zach's wines got second place next to Domaine Dujac and some other really crazy producers. So pretty cool to see that they've been working towards increasing the perception of what wines in this part of the world can be. So, Zach, what are we doing today? We're going to taste through 75 barrels and figure out what the blend should be?
Yeah, basically we have our 2023 vintage of red wines that are all in barrel still. They've been in barrel almost 3 years now. So we're going to taste through every single barrel, looking for any nuances that can help us grade them from different tiers. So the top tier will go to our reserve reds, and then mid-tier goes to blends, and then the lowest tier barrels would get blended into a sweeter wine.
Cool. All right. Let's see what we can do. So, Zach, what do you have planted here? It's kind of unique for the area.
Yeah, so this is one of the oldest blocks right here. You can see how big the trunks are. This is Cabernet Sauvignon, and so this was planted in 99 and still going really strong. So, so we have Cab Sauv, Merlot, Cab Franc, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon, and Moscato.
So these are all the vinifera grapes, which
You can
is
actually
different.
Stop in here and see these guys are leaf pulling today. But yeah, it's all vinifera.
So typically with some of the wineries in this area and other parts of the East Coast, they have Labrusco grapes, which are native hybrids.
Yep.
And they oftentimes grow better, but the issue is they don't develop necessarily the most desirable flavor characteristics. So it's cool to see that you guys are only planting, the...
Yeah, we figure if you're going to put the work in, you might as well grow the high-end stuff. And you're going to deal with more weather issues and winter damage, but still kind of the path we chose.
Cool. So these are pretty serious trunks. How long have these been planted for?
Yeah, these are about 25 years old.
Wow.
And
tell us about the trellising. What's the
so
style?
This is all VSP trellised, which is all upright, and it's great for mechanization. It's great for sunlight. You see there's an easy direct line of sight from the sun to the fruit. We don't want any shading here, so we're getting as maximum amount of sunlight and airflow. We just leaf pulled this entire fruit zone, so should really help, get nice airflow and dry out the canopy.
To prevent mildew or disease or anything like that.
Exactly.
And we're in mid-July? How far away from harvest are we?
So we're about, it would be July, August, September, and October. So we're quite a ways away, like four months. And we're just getting up into what's called the bunch closure lag phase, which is when the berries will start to kind of harden their seeds and the bunches will get tight, and then in about a couple weeks we'll start to see color change and veraison.
So this is the hedger attachment on the tractor? What does hedging do?
So hedging removes any excess of this growth that we have in the canopy.
So it's like this top part here.
Anything that gets above the trellis system has to be hedged off. Vines will grow basically forever, the entire season, so they'll grow all the way back to the ground and keep growing on the ground. So we have to keep hedging them, keep nice tight canopies so the sunlight can
what's the purpose? Just to get more sun exposure?
Exposure, if you have a canopy that grows into itself, you're going to get all this humidity trapped.
Yeah.
And it creates a tunnel, and that's just a breeding ground for mildews.
Yeah.
We want as much sunlight and airflow. And here you can see we had really bad frost damage this year, so we actually let all the shoots from the trunks grow up.
Huh. Interesting.
And then we put in like a makeshift trellis down here
to support
keep
them
in.
themselves.
So now we have lots of vegetative growth to support the carbohydrates in the plant and root growth. And then
why because of the frost did you do that?
We didn't have much growing up top on the canes.
Okay.
You can see here, there's like dead canes right here. There's nothing growing on them. So
Right.
we needed to let excess
New growth from different areas to get the
balance the plant out.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. So will the grapes grow from? They'll grow from much lower than they ever have.
Well, we'll prune it all away. So
Okay.
we'll still probably end up retraining from the head of the vine and not using these.
But it's just you need the
we just need the
area
carbohydrates.
for
We
sun
need the
exposure to. Got it.
photosynthesis.
Got
Yeah.
it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Got together with some other growers and you tried to figure out what you could do after the frost damage to capture as much of the grapes as possible.
Yeah, essentially, like, this is kind of a unique event for us. We've never had a frost this bad that killed off almost all of our shoots from up top. So as a collective, group with different growers in the area, we basically decided, like, hey, the best thing you could do is just let everything grow out of the vine. That gives you the most options of what to deal with. So now we can make those decisions in pruning season. So this is a section, it's right next to a woods, and the lanternflies fly right out of these trees. There's a lot of the tree that they like here called the tree of heaven.
Uh-huh.
And so they hit this block when they were young vines, and so you can see that it really stressed the vines out, and we're having to replant a lot of them in this section.
So what do the lanternflies like? Attack the trunks and suck
they suck the sap out.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is that this is the Merlot block. Right next to it there is Cab, and it's totally fine.
Huh.
So they preferred the Merlot, which it was even new to the people researching it at Penn State. They had no idea that they would prefer certain varieties.
That's so weird. Yeah. All right, we inevitably we're too slow for Zach's grandma. She's got things to do on the farm, but she made her world famous egg sandwich with like lemon preserves or something like that. Yeah.
Lemon jelly or lemon curd. They're so good.
So now, Zach, where are we? We're at the tasting room of the winery, which is attached to the house that you grew up in, basically, across the street.
Yep, this is the OG tasting room. It's connected to all the production facilities right here. So the idea is that customers can come and see everything at one spot. And this was the first one, and then now we opened 2 other locations within the county.
And what's interesting about your business is it's all self-distribution. It's all through your own stores. There's no like wholesale or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You can
It's
control
all
the experience and hire really great employees to do the tastings and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Especially important for Pennsylvania wine, right? Because it's not like widely known, so we need to get people to taste the wine in our own tasting room.
Yep. Cool. So what's our first task? We gotta do some updated tasting notes for the winery, or what's the...
Yeah, so one of our tasting room managers requested some updated tasting notes for the menu. So
what are we tasting here first?
we're going to start with the Fusion.
2024 Fusion. So what is this wine?
It's a blend of all of our white grapes. So it'll be mainly a Semillon base, and then we've got some Sauvignon Blanc, some Chardonnay, and some Muscat Canelli in it. Really just kind of an explosion of different fruit flavors in this one.
A fusion, you could say.
Yeah, you could say. 1% residual sugar.
And we were talking about this before, but what are the ways you can sort of keep residual sugar, or the perception of sugar that's left in the wine?
So there's 2 ways to get residual sugar into the wine. You either stop the fermentation before it ends, and then you keep the grape's natural sugar, or you let it ferment all the way, and then you add back sweeten with like domino sugar. What we're finding is that the natural sugar from the grape has a lot of flavor compounds attached to it, so it's a much nicer, smoother, more flavorful sweetness.
Right.
All right, so we're going to move on to the Cab Franc. So this is the 2022 Cab Franc. Just received Best in Class at the Finger Lakes International of all the Cab Francs that were entered. And I think it shows it.
This is often my favorite wine here. It reminds me of like a Kenyan coffee in some ways. It's like super blueberry character. It's so fresh. So this also was in barrel for...
This was in 3 years. Yep.
Next.
So now we have the 2022 Crowwoods Cab. So this is 100% Cab Sauv. Graded out from like 3 different blocks of Cab Sauv and probably 30 different barrels. Graded down to like the top 10 barrels.
Man, I love this wine. And is this your sort of top of the line?
I would say it's our top. I mean, the Cab Franc is starting to kind of compete with that top.
Yeah.
They're both $45 a bottle, same price point.
Which, frankly, is not cheap. Right?
No, not for Central PA.
Yeah. Right. It's all about converting people to, what the perception of value is. Like going from a $10 bottle of wine to a $50 or $60 bottle of wine is a tough sell, but people come back. You have a big wine club and stuff, so that
we also started, with high prices and high quality, so we've kind of earned that reputation from the start.
Yep.
We know some local producers that started cheap and they're trying to move up into this price point. It's much harder.
Much harder. So on the nose, what do you get?
Yeah, there's a very distinct cab like fruit there, and I don't know
cassis,
what that is.
Which
is that cassis?
It's cassis, but that's also probably not the best descriptor for.
Cassis is what we had on Cab Franc descriptor last year.
I'm also getting like bramble fruit, like a blueberry pie kind of
definitely
thing.
Definitely that.
Okay. All right, so what are we doing? We got to taste through 96 barrel samples.
So pan the room. So this is all one vintage. It's just one side of the room. So 100 barrels on each side of the room, representing two different vintages. And so today we're going to be tasting through all the 2023 vintage, which is these 100 barrels. So I pulled all these samples the last 2 days, and so they're individually numbered, and then we will just take tasting notes on every single one. And then at the end of it, then you'll have a full representation of every single lot, and then we can kind of grade out from there.
So it's a mix of all of the grape varieties, and it's our job to sort of like pick out which ones are, the best to go in the highest end wines, which ones we think would be better for blending, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult. You have to put things in context because some barrels are going to be super oaky if they're brand new oaks. So you have to think about what the potential will be behind it.
Okay, cool.
Because you're not going to know like if this is a top tier lot until you taste the other lots, right? So we're just going to go overall perception of the lot, which is what you put up in this line after we're finished tasting through. You're like, hey, what was your general impression of this lot? We're just looking at this. Each page is going to be a batch from all the same tank.
Okay.
We should get a general impression of quality level, and then within that, if there's any, first off, it's like if there's any bad barrels, then it's like an immediate, we mark that's a no-go.
Wow, the concentration is crazy.
I like to leave enough for blending. Afterwards.
I mean, to be honest, it smells pretty close to the finished product that we just took.
Which is amazing because it's a brand new barrel.
Yeah.
And it doesn't smell that.
It's like super integrated oak, a lot of fresh fruit. Yeah. Like this one clearly is going to need to be blended, and otherwise it's too much of the pronounced oak. Like I'm sure we'll find some fruitier.
So, palate-wise, acidity, body, it's not huge body. I'd say medium plus.
I get a lot of the acidity.
There's acidity.
It's like a rhubarb tartness kind of thing.
Yes. So let's say tart acid. Now it does roll off the finish. It's still a nice finish.
It's less pronounced oak.
What's amazing, right? This is 2023 vintage. Block 10 is the newest block. So these wines were only 4 years old at this harvest. This was like their first true harvest.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
they still have this much
potential.
Character. Yeah. Honestly, less strawberry, more like raspberry on this one.
And still not overpowering oak.
All right, so new barrel, different lot.
Yep. So this would be a brand new fruit, different lot.
Oh yeah. Wow. Fresh, bright fruit. But it has a little bit of like a menthol, maybe? Like a mint.
There's a little something there. It could be the new barrel.
I think
it's the new oak.
Yeah.
I think it's the new oak.
Yeah. I could see that.
It's just not that like, you think back to like the Vicard oak. It's like the cedar aggressive.
No, it's not even.
This is just like so well integrated and subtle.
All right, so we finally finished tasting through all 100 barrels, and basically what we're doing now, after taking our notes, is we're looking back and figuring out what we think would be a good blend. So if the barrels are really high quality, we think they'd be a good fit for the reserve wines, and everything else we'll be putting into a blend. So we're taking the samples, combining them together with what we think will result in a high quality wine. So Zach, when we're thinking about this, what are we thinking about? We're thinking about like the tannins currently. What else are we thinking about?
Yeah, so overall we're comparing the lots and we're thinking which has the most promising fruit potential. We're not getting too caught up in the finish because the tannins evolve over time, but we are looking at acidity because acidity is less likely to change. So overall, we're just looking at quality per barrel. We're making the blends with the barrels we like the best, while keeping in mind that we still need a good ratio of new oak to, once used in neutral oak barrels.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, you already did that.
Yeah, I did that one.
Okay, great. And then
So
202. Yeah, 202. Here.
Okay, this will be the cherry tree blend.
So these were really strong barrels. Like, we really liked the fresh fruit. A lot of that, like, cherry, raspberry stuff, right?
Yeah, that smells great.
It's crazy how they all combine and integrate so well.
So the question is that too heavy oak?
It's a little oaky.
It's pretty oaky.
So what are you doing now, Zach?
Some siphoning to get samples out of the barrel. And you can see the yeast come through. So I gotta clear it up, get rid of that lees. You don't want to taste that. That's all that yeast laying at the bottom of the barrel that's giving the wine a lot of rich, creamy texture, but we don't want it in our sample. Right. Chardonnays we make, one of them is going to be a small lot, high-end reserve barreled Chardonnay. So that's going to be like 4 or 5 barrels. The rest of it we're going to blend in with a stainless steel Chardonnay. And then that's going to be like a 50-50 oak and stainless blend.
Cool. And the old line chard, which is sort of the second label you're describing, was the one that placed really highly.
Judgment of Davis, yeah. So yeah, this is definitely a tried and true. Doing a 50-50 split seems to really do well.
And the Chardonnay grows really well here because of the
Yeah.
weather and...
Yeah, it's a perfect fit for PA.
Yeah. Wow. So fresh. Apple. Lemon.
Yeah, like apple, real yellow apple. Looks like a mango.
No oak.
Yeah, it's all neutral.
Medium plus. Medium body. Medium plus. And that's it. That's an A. Right?
I think.
On the nose, it's got more of like a bitter, like the white part of a lemon instead.
Not as rich and creamy, but
I don't know. That's lean and austere. Yeah, I think that's my
like that
favorite.
better.
Yeah, that's
it's
really
more
good.
of an old line style.
Yeah.
That's hard to judge. They're all pretty good.
All right, 252. All right, well, that was really fun. Just got back home after spending a week with Zach, who's one of my oldest and best friends in the whole world. But this felt like an even more special trip, being able to spend time with him and taking you along for the journey. It was fascinating tasting through all those barrels, seeing the comparison between the different types of oak that were used, the different lots, and understanding how Zach deals with different disease pressure, environmental pressure that might be new or different or exciting, and how he leverages a community of winemakers in his area in order to learn quickly, adapt, and to improve his circumstances. I had an awesome time making this video. If this is something that you're excited about or interested in, please leave a comment below or let me know. Maybe we'll get back out to Lancaster for another trip or a different part of the winemaking process or journey.